Hey everyone, Jeff Zell here. Hope you all doing well. As you know, I'm running for school board in Sumter County in Area 8, which is Loring Mill and the cross section of Loring Mill and Patriot Parkway and a big circle around it, essentially. So if you're a constituent, please hear me out and make vet the other candidates as well and make your vote matter. I'm not going to speak negatively about my opponents, but I will tell you this. I am by far and without question the only change candidate in the race. The rest is what you're going to get from what I could tell and from proven track records, you're going to get status quo. Now, if you believe that the school board is functioning properly and the school district is producing results that people expect and want, vote for my opponents. But I don't believe they are or that it is. Why am I and many folks like me running for school board? It's because we've got to fight back. And I don't see any of my opponents doing that. We've got to elect conservative, principled, conservative majorities, and we've got to start now. We are the leaders we've been waiting for. No one's coming to save us. We've got to do the work. I've been disappointed far too often. And we, with the school boards and everything else, we're going to change that starting right now. We need you to engage. We must fully and concretely reestablish and strengthen parental rights in education, without question. We must give good teachers their voice back and provide discipline and structure to students so that educators can do what they do best: teach. And not to babysit. We must educate our children, not indoctrinate them with this crazy, perverse, gender, racial, sexual ideology of the left, which is prevalent and pervasive. The problem with my opponents is they're not going to fight back. We've seen it. They go along to get along. I am the only one that will push back. For sure. And there's nothing wrong with compromise. But when the stakes are so high and our people on our side compromise their values and principles to just get along and to not make waves, that's where I have a real problem. And that's why a lot of people that are running in these school boards, that's why they're doing it, because we are fed up. We can be nice and polite while also being nice and polite while bulldozing the left's plans and policies that have been embedded into our school boards, into our school districts, with policies that are positive and that will bring true and lasting change and will benefit the communities that the school board and the school districts are supposed to answer to. They need to, we demand value on our tax dollars and in our children's lives. And they are not producing that, not in any real significant way. We got to change that. It starts now. Today I was in, just a little story. Today I was in Columbia, and this is what we're up against. Today I was in Columbia picking up a desk for this office for my daughter, because she's going to share this office with me, and she's going to help me campaign, because I am going to raise an activist. I am going to raise a lover of our country, and I am raising a child of God in my daughter, and it starts now. I digress. I was in Columbia today picking up a desk, and the lady selling it lived in what appeared to be a $500,000 house, easy. And great. I applaud her success. I want everybody to have at least a $500,000 house. But she lived on a golf course. It was probably about 2 or 3, and she was day drinking, which is okay. I'm not judging. I'm simply saying it was pretty obvious. And she said to me, and so I told her I was buying the desk because I'm campaigning for school district in Sumter. And she says, and I quote here, "I couldn't do it. I was a teacher, and when those parents start complaining like they have been at the school districts in the last few years, ooh man, I would get in trouble for smacking one of them." Now, I couldn't believe that. Now I say that because she said it with such disdain, and her words were just dripping with elitism and sarcasm. It was this surrounded in this holier than thou sentiment. It was just gross. And to avoid an argument, at someone's house over like flippant and glib remarks, I nodded and I said, "Thanks, ma'am. Appreciate it. Thanks for the desk. It'll get a lot of use." But I wanted to say to her is, "Thank you, ma'am, but your attitude is exactly why I'm running. I will give parents their rightful place and deserved place at the table, and that we don't just owe them that; they're entitled to it. Complaints and everything else that comes with it, because no one cares more about their children than them, and they know what's best for them, not the district and not the board. So parents absolutely deserve and are entitled to a seat at the table. The predominant seat at the table as far as I'm concerned." All right, next point, CRT. I know it's this big boogeyman thing that the left says, "Oh, it's a right-wing conspiracy. It doesn't exist, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah." But it is real. And although there may not be a class called CRT 101, the tenets absolutely of this hateful way of thinking is being taught in our schools every day. To what degree? We don't know. Largely because our school districts are so unbelievably closed off. And I personally think it's by design. Because if you recall, years ago, what did school boards and school districts say? Parental involvement needs to happen. The reason why schools are failing because parents aren't involved. Parents aren't involved. Well, now parents are, and guess what? They want to exclude them. I wonder why. It's unbelievably frustrating, and we all know it. But to what degree it's being taught, we don't know, because it's so very closed off. But I believe what we are seeing being uncovered now in Sumter and in Columbia and Richland and everywhere else, I think it's just the tip of the iceberg, to be honest. But we have a lot of work to do to uncover it. But I am so thankful for parents stepping up. And I just want a couple shout outs. Parents like Maggie Marlowe of United Parents of South Carolina, and Nicole Smith, and Courtney O'Hara of Moms for Liberty, and Tiffany Lee, and thousands of others that I am remiss for not mentioning, but I don't want to keep you too long. And everyone else that's been taken upon themselves to bring this harmful and hateful scourge of an ideology to light. I'll say this. Currently, there's at least one LGBTQ. That's a lot of syllables right there just to describe something. There's one LGBTQ activist on the board in Sumter County that we know of. And this individual doesn't have any children, but they are perpetually elected because of the demographic categories that defines them. They openly advocate for LGBTQ plus agenda and policies. And of course, they are in another district because Area 8 would have none of that. But my opponents in my particular race seemingly do not have the internal fortitude to go toe-to-toe with them and their side. Why? Because they would rather be polite than be right and stand on the right side of principle and of the issues. You all know me. I am absolutely incapable of keeping quiet when my values and our values are being trampled on in the name of equity and inclusion. My goal when I'm elected is to disrupt this current board so significantly and force them to act in the open. For far too long, this board has cowered to the woke left. And look where they brought us. Broken schools, children who are graduating who can't read at grade level, some who can barely read at all, and they're absolutely ill-equipped to step into society as a contributing member. And what I just said is the understatement of the century, and you know it. All the stats and data prove it. Now, this is a general statement, obviously. There's a lot of good kids who come from good families who care about them in the public school system that are, despite the school system, getting their kids through and off to success. And so there is a parent, board, administration gap that we've got to bridge. And I'm telling you what, when I'm elected, we're going to do that. We are going to do that. I can't do it on my own. You can't just put me in office and say, Jeff, go fix the problem. I will do my part. Undoubtedly, I will sniff out every broken process, every ill-advised and ill-deemed policy and process and curriculum item. That's my promise. But I need you all to stand up and with us. I ask all of you to engage. Reach out to your school board members, your candidates, and vet them. Ask them how, and once you do, and you figure out who it is you're going to support, get them on record. Ask them the hard questions. Ask them the hard questions again. Get them on video. Because what's going to happen, and we've seen it too often, is someone's going to say the thing that you want to hear, you're going to put them in office, and then they're not going to do it. You won't get that with me, I promise you. That is a promise. I ask you to engage. Call your school board member. Figure out who you're going to support and ask them how you can help them. There's a lot of ways. Make phone calls. Tell your friends about them. Put yard signs up. Share their social media posts. Donate money. Do something. Do all the above. Do something. Our children's future is absolutely worth it. And our nation's future is directly tied to our children's education. That is a matter of fact. Our children's future is at stake. This election is way bigger than you and me. It's about our nation and our society at large. And is it going to last? Or can we get through these tumultuous times? Because I believe we are and I believe it's a God thing, we are in hard times right now because our best days are ahead of us. And we are going through the ringer right now to get to the other side of it. But it's you and me have to stand up and actually do the work. So I'm telling you, literally right now, we need to start electing politicians that are principled and unafraid. Or you might as well hang it up, because in a generation or two, America as you know it won't exist. And I know that sounds like hyperbole, but it's not. Do me a favor. You don't believe me? Call your grandma or grandpa up right now, or your great grandma or your great grandpa. Walk over or call your elderly neighbors and ask them what they think compared to what the America they grew up in, or the Sumter County or the Richland County, Charleston County. Ask them if what they feel and how they feel about the current state of affairs in America and in their schools right now, and ask them what they think. Because I tell you, what they're going to tell you is they are disgusted and appalled and beside themselves because the America they knew was so great. We are in my opinion, I so know this, we say this all the time, this is the most important election of our lifetime. Well, it is. That's the last 2 years have shown us what the left will do and how far their tentacles are reaching. They reach to across the world, and they reach into every level of bureaucracy. Every single level of bureaucracy, and we have to pry their cold hands off the levers of power. And I understand you're busy. We're all busy. I'm busy. I'm retiring from the Air Force. I would love to be focusing on my next career and focusing on my making money. I want to be Donald Trump rich one day, but that is not where my heart is. My heart is saving this country, saving Sumter. We can't save our country unless we save our communities and our families. And that's where we have to start. So I will never be too busy to fight for the nation that I love, that I spent 20 years fighting for. Exodus 18, and I'm going to read this. Exodus 18:21 says this. Look for able men, and this applies to men and women here, obviously. Look for able men from all people, men who fear God, who are trustworthy and hate a bribe, who place such men as over people, as chiefs of thousands, of hundreds, of fifties, and of tens, and let them judge people at all times. Every great matter they shall bring to you, In every small matter, they should decide for themselves. What that means is you must elect people with the correct values, who are principled and who will stand on those values. And if your elected officials are not going into their offices every single day asking themselves, does my rhetoric, does my policies, does the bills that I produce, does my thoughts, does my principles, if it does not strengthen my constituents' rights and liberties and freedoms, or does it hurt them? If they're not asking themselves that question, and only that question, every day, they have no business in leadership and in that office. We elect conservative majorities that stand on principle starting November 8th, 2022. Stand with us. Elect a majority of the people, of the people. Elect your neighbors. They aren't so out of reach where you elect them and they just go away and come back every 2 or 4 years to collect donations from you. Elect your neighbors. Elect me. Elect Alex Grande, and all the others, so that we can fight like hell and fight like madmen against the evil that's coming for our kids. Stand with us. God's on our side. We will win. Thank you for hearing me out.